the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
When America is strong, the world is safe.
America has remained the best in space.
Relentless pursuit of victory will guide us to return to the moon, put Americans on Mars. Welcome to Made in America Week. We'll rise to that challenge. We will stand with our allies, restoring democracy and ending the crisis. Welcome to a new era for American infrastructure. The great respect of the president.
So true.
Whole, free, and at peace.
So true.
Unsettled and mass of hell.
Say it again, what?
This will end.
Bye-bye.
Yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence made a visit to Brazil, and there was something he needed to get off his chest.
To the people of Central America, I have a message for you, straight from my heart, and straight from the heart of the American people. Don't risk your lives or the lives of your children by trying to come to the United States on a road run by drug smugglers and human traffickers. If you can't come legally, don't come at all.
God damn. That's from his heart? Jeez, what does he say when he hates you? That was so intense as well. If you can't come legally, don't come at all. Incidentally, that's also his rule for sex. Mother, I have a permit. And here's what I find funny about this whole thing, all right, is the fact that Mike Pence used Brazil as an opportunity to speak to Central American migrants. Why? Brazil is not even in Central America. You realize Florida is closer to Central America than Brazil. Like, there's no issue with immigrants coming from Brazil illegally. Brazilians don't even speak Spanish. Like, Brazil's just kind of similar to them. Like, what does that mean? It's like going to a Star Trek convention and being like, I've got a message for Chewbacca! But I guess for Pence, it's close enough. You know, I feel like he gives this speech whenever he's around any Latinos, you know? He'll be at Chili's like, I have a message straight from my heart. Don't risk your lives. It's like, sir, can you take the sizzling steak fajitas, please? My hand is starting to burn. It's starting to burn, sir. And the way Pence delivered that speech was no joke. Like, he sounded like, you know in those movies when a villain is showing up on every single TV screen around the world?
Yes, sir. I got it.
To the people of Central America,
Nobody's saying anything.
I have a message for you.
We're blanketing every station.
Don't risk your lives or the lives of your children by trying to come to the United States on a road run by drug smugglers and human traffickers. If someone tells you they can bring your child to America, don't believe them. Hold on to your children. Build your lives in your homeland. If you can't come legally, don't come at all.
So insane. But now, yet another member of the Trump cabinet is getting pulled into Ukraine gate.
This morning, the Washington Post reporting President Trump repeatedly enlisted Vice President Mike Pence to join in his pressure campaign on Ukraine. The president reportedly instructing Pence to skip the inauguration of Ukraine's new leader, Volodymyr Zelensky. The paper also says President Trump used Pence to inform Zelensky that U.S. military aid was being withheld.
White House officials say Pence likely would have received detailed notes of the president's call with Zelensky in his daily briefing book on July 26th.
The vice president might be tainted by all of this. If the vice president knew about that and was involved in that, to me, that not only taints him, but it makes him ineligible as well for the presidency.
Wow. So Mike Pence likely knew about the phone call, had access to the transcript, and personally told Zelensky that he wasn't getting his military aid. Pence was so deep in this thing, I bet Mother considers it cheating. And I'm not shocked. I'm honestly not shocked that Pence was involved, because he does whatever Trump tells him. You realize that, right? Like, you see, Trump he's Homer Simpson, all right? And he basically picked Ned Flanders as his VP. Yeah. If Trump says jump into that volcano, Pence would be like, oakley dokley, sir, I'll do it. But what's interesting is that Mike Pence doesn't deny that he got tough with Ukraine. What he claims is that it was all totally innocent.
Questions swirling about what Pence knew and when.
Officials close to Pence say he was unaware the president had also pressured Zelensky for damaging information on political rival Joe Biden.
His aides insist he was in the dark.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is a weird excuse, all right? Pence says he was pressuring Ukraine, but he didn't know it had anything to do with Joe Biden. That makes no sense. So why was he pressuring them? He didn't know why? That would be like a mob enforcer not knowing what he's enforcing. Yeah? Just like the guy showing up like, I don't think you understand, Tommy. My boss wants you to do that thing. I'd be like, what do you want? What do you want me to do? Well, I don't know, the thing. I thought you would know. I just show up and I go like this with my hands. Then people do a thing. I don't even know what it is. So Mike Pence's excuse seems to be that he was blissfully unaware of what Trump was really up to. But what's interesting is that it seems like this is his excuse for a lot of things that happen in this White House.
7 people close to the vice president tell CNN Pence was unaware Flynn spoke to the Russian ambassador about sanctions.
He was unaware of Flynn's ties to Turkey.
Let me say, hearing that story today was the first I heard of it.
Pence was not aware of communications with WikiLeaks.
He was unaware of this controversial meeting.
I learned as I awoke this morning of those developments.
Oh, I learned as I awoke this morning, yes. Hashtag I awoke like this. Yeah, apparently whenever there's a Trump scandal, Mike Pence never seems to know what's going on. Never. He just has no clue. He's like every mom watching a movie. Just like, is that the bad guy? No, Mom. That's the Pixar lamp. The movie hasn't started yet. But why did it kill the eye? Mom, it's just a thing. Just like, the movie hasn't started. My mom used to do that all the time, by the way. I don't know if yours did. We'd be watching a movie together. We just started. And you know, like how somebody gets killed in the beginning, and then my mom would be like, oh, hi, Trevor, why did they kill him? I'm like, the movie just started. I don't know. I'm here with you. We just started watching this together. I'll tell you at the end. Because the way he tells it, Mike Pence doesn't know about any of the bad things happening in the Trump administration, which is most of the things happening. And I mean, if that's true, that's actually not good for America. Because you realize if Trump gets kicked out, Pence becomes president. But clearly he has no idea what's going on. Right? Which means he's just going to be at the State of the Union like, my fellow Americans, the State of the Union is, like this, you know, the thing. Last night was Mike Pence at his finest. Cool, calm, and full of BS. Starting with the way he talked about the civil unrest happening in America's cities.
Last week, Joe Biden didn't say one word about the violence and chaos engulfing cities across this country. President Trump and I know that the men and women that put on the uniform of law enforcement are the best of us. Every day, when they walk out that door, they consider our lives more important than their own. People like Dave Patrick Underwood, an officer in the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Protective Service, who was shot and killed during the riots in Oakland, California. Dave's heroism is emblematic of the heroes that serve in blue every day.
First off, Pence says that an officer was killed during the riots in Oakland, which gives you the impression that the officer was killed by rioters, right? The truth is, the person charged with killing Officer Underwood is a right-wing terrorist. You know, it's sort of like saying that Bruce Lee died during the Vietnam War. Yeah, technically that's correct because he died in 1973, but it's not while he was fighting the Viet Cong. You gotta tell the truth, people. Bruce Lee was killed by the Illuminati. When Pence says that Joe Biden didn't say one word about the violence during the convention, he's giving you the impression that Biden supports the riots, when in fact, Biden condemned them a few months ago when they started, and he continued condemning them again yesterday when they kicked off in Kenosha. And that's what makes Mike Pence so slick. He doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. He just implies. But that's fine, I guess. You know, there's no commandment that says, thou shalt not suggest false witness against thy neighbor. So, according to Mike Pence, America under President Trump is falling into anarchy. But you'll never guess whose fault it actually is.
Joe Biden says that America is systemically racist and that law enforcement in America has, and I quote, an implicit bias against minorities. Joe Biden would double down on the very policies that are leading to violence in America's cities. The hard truth is, you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America.
That's right. You see all the bad stuff that's happening in Trump's America? Well, that's actually Joe Biden's America. So wait, when is it Trump's America? When things are going well. And as for the idea that you won't be safe when Joe Biden is president, people are not safe now! Forget the riots, coronavirus is waiting to punch me in the lungs as soon as I leave the house. You won't be safe in the future. Bitch, I can't even go to a Denny's right now! So Mike Pence talking about riots and protests wasn't exactly on the up and up. But it was nothing compared to his bullshit about Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, which, to hear him tell it, was more perfect than Trump's call with Ukraine.
Before the first case of the coronavirus spread within the United States, the president took unprecedented action and suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world. Now, that action saved untold American lives. And I can tell you firsthand, it bought us invaluable time to launch the greatest national mobilization since World War II. President Trump marshaled the full resources of our federal government from the outset. He directed us to forge a seamless partnership with governors across America in both political parties. Today, we're conducting more than 800,000 tests a day, and we have coordinated the delivery of billions of pieces of personal protective equipment for our amazing doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of impressed by how much cow excrement Pence managed to pack in here. Because yes, America is doing 800,000 tests a day now. What Pence doesn't mention is the many months where America did basically no testing, and that Trump himself wants there to be less testing. Pence brags about coordinating the delivery of PPE. What he doesn't mention is that America was so disorganized on PPE that nurses were wrapping themselves up in garbage bags, running around looking like some kind of broke-ass Missy Elliott's. I mean, it's great that you bought invaluable time to launch a national mobilization, but what would have been even better was if you actually used that invaluable time to actually do the national mobilization. Oh, and as for the seamless partnership with America's governors, I assume Pence is referring to when Trump told Democratic governors that they would only get help if they were nice to him. I mean, I guess that's a seamless partnership. The same way when a guy walks into the bank and tells someone to put the money in the bag, they put the money in the bag. Hashtag teamwork. Now, to be fair, Mike Pence did admit that America hasn't completely solved coronavirus. But then he got mad that Joe Biden said finishing the job would take actual work.
Now, last week, Joe Biden said that no miracle is coming. Well, what Joe doesn't seem to understand is that America is a nation of miracles. And I'm proud to report that we're on track to have the world's first safe, effective coronavirus vaccine by the end of this year.
Wow, what a miracle. We might be getting the vaccine at some point, and only 200,000 people had to die first. Take that, Joe Biden. Like, I don't think it still qualifies as a miracle if it happens long after we needed the miracle. God parting the Red Sea wouldn't have been quite as miraculous if it happened 8 months after the Egyptians stabbed all the Israelites to death. So, that was Mike Pence's speech. And I guess we finally found out why Pence always has that permanent squint. Yeah, his own face is going, are we really saying this bullshit? But at least Pence managed to finish his address by turning all that BS into one amazing, new, terrible campaign slogan.
We will re-elect our president and principled Republican leaders across the land. And with President Donald Trump in the White House for 4 more years, And with God's help, we will make America great again. Again.
Damn. I didn't think they could come up with something worse than make America great again, but they did it. Because MAGA was an ambiguous call to a bygone era that never really existed. This new slogan just sounds like someone got hit in the head with a bag of hammers. Because what's implied with make America great again, again, is that at some point during your presidency, you f***ed up. It almost makes me think that this whole slogan was a mistake. Mr. President, we need to think of a brand new slogan. How about make America great again? Again? My God, Mike, you're a genius. Honestly, I wouldn't trust anyone who uses the phrase again. Like if my plumber said he needed to fix my toilet again, I would find a new plumber and a new toilet. Probably a Japanese one. I mean a Japanese toilet, not a Japanese plumber. Not that I wouldn't hire a Japanese plumber. I don't care what race my plumber is. It can be any race. I'm just saying the toilet. I didn't want you to think that, you know what? Let me start that joke again. The Republican Party right now is more divided than Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. The big debate is between a small handful of conservatives who think it is wrong to try and steal an election versus the majority of Republicans who say overthrowing democracy is just legitimate political discourse. Well, now Mike Pence has chosen a side.
The former vice president, Mike Pence, rebuked President Trump's insistence that Pence could have rejected the Electoral College results on January 6th.
President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump is wrong. And frankly, there is no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president.
Ooh, Mike Pence standing up to Donald Trump. Hey! Look at my guy trying new things for the first time. Next week, players going to be having sex with his eyes open. But still, good for Pence. And it's going to be fun watching him endorse Trump for re-election in 2 years. He was right. I should have done it. And next time, maybe I will. As everyone prepares themselves for what the 2024 race will be like with Trump, there's one part that'll be different this time. And that is one of Trump's biggest ass lickers is going to be leaving his ass very dry.
Nearly 2 years after a mob of Donald Trump's supporters attacked the Capitol, disrupting the transfer of power and chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," Trump's once loyal vice president is finally telling his story about what happened that day.
The president's words were reckless, and his actions were reckless. The president's words that day at the rally endangered me and my family and everyone at the Capitol building.
Given all that you witnessed in the Capitol on that day, this is a pretty straightforward question, a yes or a no. Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
David, I think that's up to the American people. But I think we'll have better choices in the future.
Hell yeah! Good for Mike Pence, telling Donald Trump, you almost got me and my family killed, which is why I'm now prepared to say that it's possible there are better alternatives to you in the next election, although that decision will be up to the American people. You tell him, Mike Pence. Ooh, you tell him. For real though, man, it's a simple question. Do you support Trump or not? I can't believe Mike Pence is the one leaving us hanging. And I know why he's doing this, right? I know why he's doing it. He doesn't want to go too hard against Trump because he's still hoping to win over Trump's voters if he runs for president, which is so delusional. Trump's people were the ones who wanted to kill him. The only reason they would elect him president is so that they know for sure where he lived. Why would they vote for you? And even if that strategy works, it still makes him a punk-ass bitch. It does. I'm sorry, but this is not the type of man you want leading the United States, right? Oh, you can't even say the thing out loud. If Pence was president, forget China. Canada would be invading. Yeah. Just be like, oh, sorry, we're gonna take Oregon, eh? Oh, it just seems so easy. Sorry, eh?
Speaking of Mike Pence, guess what they just found at his house? Yes, classified documents. Yes, him too. First Trump, then Biden, now Mike Pence. You know, at some point, the FBI is just gonna have to be like, okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and count to 10. And if there are classified documents on this table when I open them, no one gets in trouble.
Let's move on to the major news about the arrest of Donald Trump, which is that Trump still has not been arrested. But don't worry, because there's still 50 other investigations going on into Trump, and one of them is about to feature a surprise witness.
In a major ruling, a federal judge has ordered former Vice President Mike Pence to testify before a grand jury about former President Trump. Pence has been ordered to give testimony in the special counsel investigation of Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. The judge ruled private exchanges between Trump and Pence are not off limits. Prosecutors are focused on conversations the two men had on January 6 and also in the days leading up to the Capitol attack.
The conversations before January 6 when Donald Trump and Mike Pence were on the phone one-on-one, and Donald Trump apparently was berating him, calling him names, that sort of thing in this criminal investigation. He is going to have to share that.
Oh, come on, man. Don't make Pence say all the names that Trump called him. Yo, that could take weeks. These jury members have families to go home to. Although, as a viewer, it's something I'd like to see, actually. President Trump brought me into his office and called me a little mashed potato boy, a jerk off for Jesus, a silver-haired baby bitch. He called me the white Mitt Romney. I don't even know what that means. He said if I didn't overturn the election, he would, how would I put this? Make love to me in the hole where the poo-poo comes out. Now, for more on this story, we go live to the courthouse and Roy Wood Jr. Roy, what do you think about Pence having to testify against Trump?
I think this is about to be the whitest trial of all time. You got Mike Pence, you got Donald Trump. This is about to be whiter than the Gwyneth Paltrow case. And that case got snow, skin, and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Roy, that's a good point. And it seems like Pence really doesn't want to testify.
Of course he doesn't. Trump supporters are gonna try to kill him again. And some of those supporters are women. So Mike Pence is double scared. According to his beliefs, if you get killed by a woman, you go to super hell. You go to super hell, and they don't even give you bathroom breaks in super hell.
Yeah, it's almost like an Amazon warehouse.
But there's a way out for Mike Pence. There's a way out for Donald Trump, but neither one of them are gonna like it. If Pence doesn't want to testify against Trump, then Trump and Pence gotta get married.
Wait.
Put a ring on it, Mike Pence.
What? Wait up. What are you talking about, married?
I'm talking about the law, John. You don't have to testify against your spouse. And I know what I'm talking about. I watch all the Law and Orders, even the bad spinoffs.
Okay, but still, how can they be married? They hate each other.
All married people hate each other. It's not like hating your spouse would be a big adjustment for Trump. Hell, Melania'd be so happy that Trump's getting married to Pence, she'd walk him down the aisle herself. Who presents this band for marriage? Me do, Melania. Go out there, Donna. And also, let's just be real about this, John. What? Trump and Pence get married, they might just end up hitting it off. Maybe they fall in love. Maybe they adopt a child together. The kid grows up to be the whitest kid in history. A kid so white, he can gentrify a building just by touching it. I'm talking about super white. I'm talking about a kid so white that he don't even have to go to Coachella. He just summoned Coachella around him. He just... Right. He summoned Coachella.
Oh, come on, focus, please, my brother, please.
I'm sorry, man. It's just all so white, all these white ass cases. Look, man, I gotta go, dog. I need to do something black to rebalance myself. I'll holler at you, but hey, can somebody deny me a bank loan? How you doing, sir?